Good evening, everyone. A Florence motel is back open tonight after being the scene yesterday of a shootout between a 16-year-old boy and a police officer.
Late today, we learned that the coroner says the teen gunshot wound was self-inflicted. And tonight, the guests who were forced from that motel started returning. And as Local 12's Brad Underwood reports from Florence, investigators still have a lot of questions to answer. Brad?
A lot of unanswered questions. Good evening, Rob. Tonight inside the motel, all but a couple of rooms are once again occupied. The majority of them, the regulars, about 40 people call the motel here in Florence home. And last night they had to spend the night at that shelter created by the Red Cross. That is closed tonight as they are all back here. But new information tonight about the suspect. We do know he's a 16-year-old from Covington. We know that he was once a student at Dixie Heights High School and more recently a student at Holmes High School. And according to the school district in Covington, the sophomore dropped out of school back in September. Wednesday night, the lights are back on inside most of the rooms at the Super 8 motel, but not all of them. Investigators with the Boone County Sheriff's Department continue to look for clues. The shootout forced the evacuation of all the rooms. Motel owner Mahesh Nachani is grateful the people who call his motel home came back.
They choose to stay with us. I did not lose any of those people that are staying. They treat us as family and we treat them in a similar way.
According to the Florence Police Department, the shooting started shortly after Lieutenant Roger Allen knocked on the door where there were reports of crying, unsupervised children. In the room, 3 teenagers and 3 small children, the youngest just 5 months old. According to police, one of the 16-year-old males had a military-style weapon and was firing it at the lieutenant. Eventually, the shooter fled the room and was seen by witnesses pulling out a weapon from his bag and shooting himself one time in the head.
It happens in schools, it happens in churches, it happens at shopping centers. You know, some insane people decide to do criminal activity and somebody else, the business owner, have to pay the cost of it.
That cost, Nachani says, is about $3,000 to $4,000 of revenue per day. And this is still an active and open investigation. Investigators, the police and sheriff's deputies have been in and out of the motel throughout the evening. There is still a cruiser from the sheriff's department in the parking lot. But talking about those unanswered questions, the top of the list, the name of the 16-year-old, according to the Florence Police Department. The family asked that his name not be put out in that report. They granted that. Some other questions we're still trying to figure out, Rob and Cammie. Why were these teens here? Where did these guns come from? And maybe more importantly, where were the parents of those young children who were inside that motel room? Reporting live tonight in Florence, Kentucky, Brad Underwood, Local 12 News.
All very good questions. What about those parents? Are the kids back with their parents? Do we know that even tonight?
That information has not been relayed from police at this time. Last check with them, there's nothing in that area that would give us an idea of child services being involved at this point. So, again, no answer coming from police on that. But youngest 5 months, the oldest of the younger children, 3 years old, by themselves in a motel room. Not a good situation.
Yeah, not at all. Thanks very much, Brad. Lieutenant Allen was treated and released yesterday with minor injuries. He's been with the department for nearly 13 years.